I think that's why the people are interested in the history, because we have a history, because history keeps going. It doesn't disappear.
Wheat Ridge was incorporated as a city back in 1969, but the area's rich history truly began as gold miners homesteaded the ridge, which offered views of the eventual state capital in Denver and the foothills toward the west. As the area developed due to its focus on agriculture with harvests of wheat, fruit, and carnations, it has developed into a vibrant community that has embraced its history while looking toward the future.
So 1854 to 1861, the land that you are sitting in right now was the Kansas Territory. This is what Wheat Ridge looked like then. This was what we call the Johnson Cabin, which is right next door to this structure. Anybody know what that is?
Soddy.
There you go.
This Wheat Ridge Historical Park is on property that was owned by Bert and Etta White, my great-grandparents. And my mom was born in 1935, and she's the only one of their children who was born in the brick house. And the brick house was built by my great-grandfather. And I love this park. There's so much here to show people when they come.
I was born in 1934 and moved to Wheat Ridge in September of 1935. We lived on West 32nd Avenue, just west of Wadsworth. My father bought a greenhouse. He was a carnation grower. The town was all farms. My grandmother picked strawberries and other crops at the corner of 38th and Wadsworth.
My family moved here in 1943, and we'd come out here to get strawberries and raspberries. And after Sheridan, which was the demarcation of the end of Denver, then it was gravel to come out here. So it was a wonderful farming community, and people were very close. It was a community.
And we had room to play. We had room to go all over the place.
One thing we did for fun too was in the wintertime go sledding down the hill over there on Union.
Oh gosh.
We'd come down the hill and we'd have to bail out before Lena Gulch.
My mom and dad and my sister came to Wheat Ridge in 1949. We lived at 3880 Newland Street. And we moved here because my dad had had a drugstore at Federal and Spear, and so he took the leap of faith, came to Wheat Ridge, and opened up actually the first drugstore in Wheat Ridge. Now it's Wheat Ridge Cyclery, 38th and High Court.
The agricultural history of the city is also being honored by those who carry that legacy forward in their urban farms. Roost Farms and Five Fridges Farm raise livestock and cultivate vegetables for sale to local residents. The conservation property at Five Fridges Farms was owned by Louise Turner, and now owner Amanda Weaver has embraced the hard work of keeping that farm going while finding new ways to engage the Wheat Ridge community in local farming and locally sourced farm products.
Louise and I had lots of common things to talk about because she was so instrumental in actually incorporating the city and was I really believe, a city planner at heart, and just had her thoughts around what are the best things for community, how do we serve diverse populations, to really be that teacher of what does a model of knowing your local food system look like? What does it mean to know your local farmer? Because we've got a bunch of great farmers just even within our borders of Wheat Ridge. Wheat Ridge is able to enjoy this amazing open space that can only be used for agriculture and or conservation and habitat.
As Wheat Ridge incorporated in 1969, the police and fire services were formalized to protect and serve the city's residents and businesses.
The fire department and the Grange were really the only two unifying entities for this community.
When Denver became more aggressive, then we said, well, wait a minute, we don't want to be part of Denver.
A bunch of us were sitting in the firehouse one night, and we knew that Jefferson City was being proposed, which eventually became Lakewood, and they included within the Jefferson City boundaries, we kept hearing, Wheat Ridge was included. So we all decided, why don't we incorporate ourselves?
One night at the fire department, there's about 8 of us sitting around, and Chief Willis said, and we had Ed Anderson, thank God, he was an attorney, said, you know, let's try something. Ed said, I'll draw up the papers, and we'll beat them to the polls. We knew that we could beat them to the polls by 1 week, 7 days.
And then we had all of these different individuals from the fire department and the rest of the community were the feelers, reaching out and getting the support, getting people to sign the petitions.
And Louise Turner, who was our first city clerk, she's standing out in the rain getting all these petitions.
And so, of course, then they had the vote, and it was obviously affirmative, and so we became a city. And of course, the irony is, once you become a city, well, what services do you need?
People wanted more law enforcement than they could get through other means of what the sheriff's department could provide. So they wanted to preserve the community that they had, and they wanted some local control.
Here's our first acting chief, Jack Bramble. He was on the first council and part of that group that incorporated the city.
I think what I remember from Jack was just his commitment to the community of Wheat Ridge.
These were the original Jefferson County officers that were hired at Wheat Ridge.
And so that's how the Wheat Ridge Police Department started. And their home was in the basement of Braden. He was a dentist at 38th and Newland.
And this is dispatch in that 3805 Newland Street. This is a briefing, and you see they're in the basement. The ceiling's about, I don't know, 6.5 feet tall is all. Here we are at, this building was built in 1977. This is when it was first built. We've added on.
I remember on the remodel was there was many a day that the roof was being extended, so there wasn't any roof over the top of my office. So I got to endure rainstorms and snowflakes and a variety of other weather conditions.
Well, I came to Wheat Ridge in 1970. It was my first job in law enforcement, and I've often said that a city receives the kind of police department that they deserve, and that means that this must be a very deserving community.
Wheat Ridge is also nationally recognized for its extensive greenbelt, bike paths, trails, and parks. Wheat Ridge offers 6.5 miles of paved trails for biking, running, or horseback riding, and 15 miles of crushed gravel path dedicated to just walkers who enjoy a slower pace at which to enjoy the greenbelt that extends both east and west. The city's 24 parks provide space within our vibrant, thriving community for recreation, picnicking, and just simply gathering with friends and family.
Wheat Ridge residents have long valued parks and open space. Even before the city was incorporated, Wheat Ridge residents developed neighborhood parks. Neighborhood parks were valued and developed as community gathering places. Development of the Wheat Ridge Recreation Center really began in the mid-1990s as lottery funds began to be used to build these type of facilities.
The Wheat Ridge community is anticipating the arrival of the G-Line commuter rail, and with it, businesses will reap the benefits of increased access to the region's workforce. The business community has discovered the unique proximity Wheat Ridge offers to mountain recreation, area cultural amenities, and Denver International Airport. Recreation-focused manufacturers are especially interested in moving their operations to our city because of the proximity to transportation corridors as well as the Rocky Mountains. In addition to new retail and entertainment centers, a variety of new housing alternatives are also either nearing completion or in the planning stages. At Wheat Ridge Corners on Wadsworth and 38th Avenue, Clear Creek Crossing just west of Applewood Shopping Center, and West End at 38. The transit-oriented development at Ward Road and 52nd Avenue will also provide unique housing with easy access to travel by either commuter rail or major highways.
Economic vitality is the keystone to the success of any community. The city of Wheat Ridge is unique and special in its desire to maintain its heritage, its charm, its rural atmosphere. We need to support our current businesses, but we also need to aggressively go after new businesses.
The largest employer in Wheat Ridge also has some of the oldest history serving the community. Lutheran Medical Center started as a tuberculosis sanatorium, caring for those with TB.
I've been a physician at Lutheran Medical Center since 1986, and Lutheran, I think, has grown with the community. But the community still nestles right up to Lutheran, you know, and we're still in a residential area where you feel like you're really part of the city, you know, you're part of the fabric in people's lives. you know, hopefully we'll spend the next 50 or 100 years growing together, us, the hospital, and Wheat Ridge, our community.
So a long time ago, Fruitdale School was a school that was along 44th Avenue, and that was the Fruitdale School District. And that building for years housed elementary students, and then it became a smaller school as the population around it grew and other schools popped up. Then all of a sudden, the Fruitdale School was to the point where it couldn't be really rehabbed anymore. It was old, it had a lot of structural problems, and the school district closed it up and was going to tear it down. As I was mayor and the Wheat Ridge Housing Authority approached the school district, and we asked if they wanted to sell it. And so we ended up buying the property at Fruitdale School for approximately $100,000. And in the end, we finally found a developer that understood the historical significance of that property, and they restored it back to historical specifications. So there are market rate and affordable rental units that are high quality. They're looking at green. They have solar energy. So this building went from being empty and really an eyesore to a great location for new families. And it's kind of a beacon of how Wheat Ridge can be going from old to new again.
I've been trying to tell everybody that yesterday is history. Well, it's my home. It's where I've raised all my kids.
But I really love Wheat Ridge, and I love that this community functions very much like a small town and that people take care of each other.
We have to think differently about old here because our community is a brand new community. 50 years is but a spit in the bucket.
Wheat Ridge has a past, Wheat Ridge has a present. It has a future, and the future is bright. This is Wheat Ridge. This is home.
While Wheat Ridge is recognized as one of the best places in the Denver metro area to live, work, play, and heal, we are proud to look back and celebrate the deep roots of our community and its history. For 50 years, we have built our foundation for the future, and together, our community will continue that legacy of creating a city we are proud to call Wheat Ridge.